If you spend your life avoiding pain, you are also spending your life avoiding pleasure. And as a woman, our pleasure is such a guiding light to who we are, what we want, and how we're going to do it in this world. So we want to be turned on and turned up. And when we shut off our pleasure centers and we shut off our experience of pleasure because we're avoiding pain, you are no longer accessing your intuitive wisdom and guidance that has all the answers that you seek in your life. Hey, I'm Brooke Jean, therapist, recovering perfectionist, and struggling working mom on a mission to normalize normal. If you're an overwhelmed, high-achieving, and secretly anxious mama, struggling to balance it all and on the brink of burnout, you are in the right place. Here is where we talk about hard things like balancing work and family life, mental health, and how to navigate life-altering transitions. Nothing is too taboo here. In my conversations, I'll teach you how to let go of who you think you're supposed to be in order to create the life you've always wanted. Get ready to embrace your messy, shed the shoulds, and find freedom through a life unperfected. This is the Unperfected Pod. Welcome back to the Unperfected Pod, where we normalize normal and find freedom in a life unperfected. What is up, mama? Brooke Jean here. I'm your host. I am so happy and grateful that you are here. A couple of quick life updates that I want to share with you before we get into today's topic of conversation. So first of all, if you're watching this on YouTube, which PS, please go watch it on YouTube. Please subscribe to my channel. It's not something I pour a lot of attention into other than we do upload every single episode, but I would love to have you there. But you'll see that I'm recording from a different place today. I'm actually in my downstairs office where I do my meditation, all of my self-care rituals, where I see my long-term clients one-to-one in person. Sometimes I'll do virtual sessions down here. In the corner, I have my favorite, I call it the sunny cat spot, because in the afternoon, well, let me back up. In the morning, when the sun is rising, the sun comes through one of the windows and I meditate in the sun. Because listen, honey, your girl just feels like God, source, universe, mother nature, whatever you believe in, is just pouring that beautiful white light down on me, waking up every cell in my brain, body, and energetic field, and getting your girl primed and ready to win for the day. So I meditate in that window. Then, this is how you know you're just an animal. I am just an animal out here, unperfected. Then in the afternoon, as the sun begins to set, I have my 2-person blue velvet love seat that has been part of my practice forever, that sits in that window. And then in the afternoon, I love to sit in that sunspot. I might do sessions there. I definitely journal and do a lot of the personal development stuff there. I read. It's like I'm always cold inside the house, and in the afternoon, sitting in that sunspot just brings me so much joy and aliveness. And I guess the reason why I'm telling you, there's 2 reasons why I'm telling you this. Number 1, there are ways to make the mundane moments more magical. Where in your home right now with what you have, you don't have to buy a better house. You don't have to buy a meditation pillow. You don't have to join the program. You don't have to spend any money. Use what you have. Where can you turn a corner, a cozy corner, a little nook, a little spot in your house into something sacred and special? Maybe it's where there's a window. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's where the energy feels the best. Maybe it's where the light comes in. Maybe it's where there's a cozy pillow or a candle or something. But claim a cozy corner in your house for you to sit in that's yours, that you come to, that you breathe, that you reflect, that you meditate. You can do whatever the hell you want there. But there is something really powerful about having a spot. Because once you build a habit around, like for me, coming into my office, closing the door, setting up the meditation pillow and getting the meditation going and sitting on it in the sun, that is training my brain and my body and my energy. Okay, it's time to empty out. It's time to nourish. It's time to let go of any stale and stagnant energy or emotions. It's time for me to resource and to plug in and to nourish my mind, body, and spirit. And the more you do it, the more you've primed your system for it, and it will just automatically, boom, lock into that state without you having to try so hard. Because if you're a new meditator and you have a busy monkey mind, P.S., last week's episode about the monkey mind and reframing your thoughts, if you have not listened to that episode, I give you all the tangible tools to manage your monkey mind, to manage your busy thinking thoughts, to get out of overwhelm and overanalyzation. But if you have a monkey mind, like so many of us high achieving, high performing, perfectionistic mamas do, it can be really challenging to get into a relaxed state when you're trying to meditate. And so by having a spot and religiously going to it, you're training your mind, body, and spirit that, hey, this is where we relax. This is where we drop in. This is where we regulate the nervous system. This is where we quiet the thinking mind. This is where we plug in and download all of our best ideas and receive in an overflow. So it's amazing to have a spot for yourself. The second reason why I was telling you this is because I'm down here recording the episode today because the office upstairs where I used to record the podcast, I had purchased this peel and stick wallpaper. And when I tell you that one of the hardest things I have ever done in my adult life was putting those damn panels up, de-wrinkling them, uncrinkling them, and making sure they're lined up and not having listen, that was a journey for me. That was a real stretch of my pay grade and my skill level. And it was beautiful. It was like this woman, it was like a profile of a gorgeous woman where her head, her brain, and her hair were flowers. Because what it represented for me was women who are healing themselves, women who are no longer caged and tortured by their own negative ass thoughts. And when they replace that with flowers, we bloom, we rise, right? We become. And so I loved what this wallpaper represented and how that correlated to the Unperfected brand. So it looked good. I was rocking it, getting the compliments. It was a thing. It was so cool until one day a piece started peeling down. And I was like, no, 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 no. If you can imagine me like skirting, like, no, 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 no. And of course, it's like taller than I am. And so I'm busting out the ladder and I'm trying to save it. And at this point, pieces had already stuck to each other. And once those peel and stick panels stick to each other, honey, you are up Schitt's Creek. Okay. We are up S Creek. So I accept, because we're working on radical acceptance. I accept that I can keep the wallpaper minus the one panel because the image is still intact. Like it's obviously gonna irk my perfectionism, but I can do hard things. Well, then a week later, the second panel starts peeling. And this is when the wheels fell off the bus. We regressed into old patterns. We threw the world's biggest fit. I mean, I was just like crump. I was just I was so mad. I felt like a 6-year-old throwing a fit because I knew at that point the show was over. Okay. The circus was over. So all of this is happening. And one of my clients is a company, and I do live weekly wellness coachings for the entire organization. We call them weekly wellness lives. Shout out to my homies at Trio. Extraordinary human beings. They're designers, they're artists, they're leaders, they're innovators. Love this group. Been working with them for 3 years now. Anyways, one of their designers, who is also an artist, her name is Chloe. She was on one of the lives when I was like talking about my catastrophe. Okay. And she was like, hey, would you consider that I draw and paint a mural for you? It can be similar vibes. It can be whatever you want. And I was like, it was a full body yes when she said it, because something about one of the clients who's an artist being in my house and bringing her gifts to the office that then I get to showcase. Like, I am all about lifting the women, honey. And so I was like, yes, oh my God, I would be obsessed. Anyways, right, she's been this last weekend, she was sanding it, priming it, and she's actually drawn it on the wall, which if you're not on Instagram, I'm going to post a story here after this recording of the actual drawing. You can follow along. But she's drawn it, and now she's going to hand paint this wall mural that is all these gorgeous flowers, colorful AF, black background with my Brooke Jean Unperfected logo in white in the middle. And when I tell you, this is why sometimes we have to let things go, because something better is on the way. Like, having her hand paint this means so much more to me than the peel and stick, even though, shout out to the effort I gave that one. So, anyways, that office is under construction. It's going to have the most gorgeous background for the show you've ever freaking seen. I still am figuring out how I want to redesign it. I love design. I love furnishings. I love art and accessories and all the things. So she's getting a facelift up there. And that's why we're recording down here with the microphone like a real silly goose today. Anywho, that's the update on that. The other thing I wanted to share with you guys is when I start the podcast, I always say, or not always, but a lot of the times I'll say, I'm so happy and grateful that you're here. And that's so interesting to me because I've been reprogramming the first thoughts that I have in the day. This is something that I share in my Unstuck and Unstoppable program, and really with anybody that is in my world and wants to listen. But I used to wake up to the most negative, intrusive thoughts first thing in the morning that would just kick me into a shame spiral, put me into an anxiety freeze, and make it next to impossible to get out of bed and start my day, let alone with any sort of positive vibes. Okay. She was a negative Nelly before she got out of bed. And so I started reframing, like my brain would go to the, oh, I did it again. What did I eat? What did I drink? Was I short with my kids? What did I do? I'm such a piece of shit. I did it again. My brain would go there automatically because it's like you've had the thought so many times. It quite literally becomes a neural pathway, a default thought, which is baked into your biology. But I would pause, I would breathe, and I would bring my attention to new thoughts that I created as affirmations. And I did this, and it was, I am healthy, I am wealthy, I am pregnant, because this was years ago and I was trying to get pregnant with Chloe. And I was trying to get my business off the ground. So it was like I wanted to be the healthiest version of me. I wanted my business to take off, and I wanted to get pregnant and grow our family. And those were my manifestations. And so I thought, God, I love a good double dip. I love a good habit stack. I love a good compound effect. So if I could wake up and have my first thoughts be positive and be the affirmations of the manifestations I'm calling in, I just thought I was a freaking genius. Anyways, to make a long story long, 90 days into it, well, probably actually about a month into it, I woke up to my own brain telling me, okay? Like, can you imagine you're in a slumber that wasn't that good because of your crappy decisions you made the night before, and your own psyche like knocks on your door of your head and is like, good morning. I am healthy. I am wealthy. I am pregnant. And here I am like, what is happening? First of all, whose effing voice is that? Second of all, is this real? Third of all, this reframing your thoughts, this reprogramming your subconscious beliefs, this neuroplasticity, this energetic shift is actually happening, and it's real. And it will change your life because it changed mine. Because if you can imagine the difference in how I felt and the difference in how I started my day when I woke up to those positive thoughts, and then I sat in a moment where I would just breathe and I would visualize myself healthy, wealthy, and pregnant, and how good that would feel. And I would connect to those feelings. And before I knew it, I felt lighter. I didn't feel like an elephant who was trying to get out of bed. I felt more like neutral trying to get out of bed. Well, listen, by 90 days of doing that, and I was doing other things too. I was healing. I had this was when my spiritual awakening was happening. I was, not my first spiritual way. Anyways, I was really into the Gabby Bernsteins and the Rebecca Campbells, and I was doing all of this work. And so there was other things I was doing, but I was reframing my subconscious beliefs and I was rewiring my first thoughts of the day. Within 90 days, my loves, I got pregnant with Chloe. I getting pregnant always turns me into the healthiest bitch you've ever known. How many of you? Okay, let's take a poll. How many of you will not do the healthy thing for yourself because you just deserve to feel good? But honey, when she gets pregnant, oh, no problems cutting out all the bad decisions. No problem starting to treat my body like a vessel. No problem nourishing myself. No problem quitting drinking. Why is it that it takes a pregnancy to get healthy? Well, because as women, number one, we're mothers and we're extraordinarily, by nature, protective and nurturing. So a lot of us, not all of us, but by nature, will want to do the right thing. And it's so much easier to do for others than it is ourselves, which is what I'm trying to help you unravel from in this podcast. So I got pregnant, which forced me to get healthy, and my business was literally blowing up. I remember that was when I started making $10,000 a month and $12,000 a month and $15,000 a month, which at the time was a really big deal for me. And this was 8 years ago. That was 8 freaking years ago. So I've been doing this reprogramming my subconscious beliefs and choosing my thoughts and trying to build new neural pathways and neuroplasticity. I've been doing this work for 8 years. And so now that I know that it works, I get to choose my thoughts like I choose my outfit for the day. And so it's in this season of my life, what are the thoughts that I want to be waking up to? Well, I'm working on feeling alive. I'm working on opening my heart and deepening my connection to people. I'm working on all of these things. So I decided, because everything starts with awareness and then a powerful decision to do the damn thing. I was I want to start my day with, I am so happy and grateful to be alive. Because there's been a lot of times that I've woken up in my life where I have not been happy and grateful that I'm alive. There has been a lot of days in my life that I wake up annoyed that I have to live another day. Oh my God, I have paid my dues. I have done my work. I have lived my assignment. Can I be done? This is too hard. This is too much. Okay. I'm not in that state and place anymore. I'm actually grateful to be alive. There's so much more to be experienced. There's so much more to do and feel and be and become. And oh my God, there's so much beauty in every day. Not every day. Okay. We're still allowed to have a bad day. So I decided I want to wake up to the thoughts, I'm so happy and grateful to be alive. And so this morning I noticed that without me having to try, because whenever you're choosing a new thought, you have to actively choose it and then state it over and over again with repetition and emotional intensity. So you state it, you see it on sticky notes, you feel what it feels like to embody it. This is how we reprogram. So anyways, I woke up today and my brain said, first thing, I'm so happy and grateful to be alive. And then now I take it to, and I'm so happy and grateful to wake up in this cozy bed with a loving partner, with 2 healthy kids, with work that lights me up. The sun is shining. Colorado is beautiful in the fall. Oh my God, my home is so safe and so beautiful. And I have so many things. Oh my God. And then I sit in a moment and I visualize me feeling the most alive. And this is how I start my day. But I just made the connection just this morning as I'm starting this podcast, that I start the podcast with, I'm so happy and grateful you're here. And I start my day with, I'm so happy and grateful to be alive. I didn't do that on purpose. So this is when we set an intention. I just want to be more happy and grateful. Why? Because it feels good to be in an emotional and energetic state of happy and grateful. Do I expect to feel that all day, every day? Absolutely not. Do I need to feel like that all day, every day to be a good person, a good wife, a good mom, a good counselor, a good whatever? Absolutely not. In fact, today's topic is about being where you are, being in the truth of your actual state unapologetically without feeling like you need to change everyone else's state in the room. But do I want to set myself up for success by starting the day in at least a neutral state? Yes. I deserve that. And so do you. So when you make the powerful choice to change your thoughts and you start to reprogram them and you start to rewire them, don't be surprised when those same powerful intentions, words, thoughts, manifestations, beliefs, and mantras start to pop up in other areas of your life. And it's all connected because the universe, source, God is always conspiring for your highest good. So when you proclaim, I want to feel more happy and grateful, and you do the work to show up, it's not surprising when things start to link up and synchronicities occur. Anyways, okay, that was my second life update. Third life update is it's fall break. And while I could spend an entire episode complaining about how many days off we have in school and the getting out at 2:30 p.m. in the middle of the workday, and how not having any universal child care, not having support for parents when both parents have to work to be able to afford to live, having the government institutions not matching the working schedules, and how annoying that is, especially for working moms. I want to say how grateful I am for my husband because he took this week off of work. He does get paid vacation, right? He took this week off of work so that he could be with Chloe, so that I can work. Because number one, he's just an awesome person and a really good dad. But number two, I take Thanksgiving off and the Christmas break off. So we do a really good job working together and looking out like all the times off that Chloe's going to have, all the breaks, and kind of dividing and conquering who's going to take the time off to be with the goosey and what support do we need or what support do we have. So anyways, my sweet girl is home and my husband is home and they're doing special things. I think they're playing Legos right now. They're going to do the pumpkin patch. All of it's really good. But if you are a mother who is struggling because the kids are off school and you have nowhere for your kids to go and you can't afford a nanny or a daycare, I see you. And this shit is a shit show, an absolute shit show. Okay. Do not be afraid to ask your neighbors and your kids' best friends' parents for trades. Do not be afraid to ask for what you need. You never know what you're going to get, but I just want to acknowledge and validate how hard that can be sometimes. And I also want to say, of course, the teachers deserve the time off. Of course, the teachers need the time to do all the things. Our teachers are overworked. So this is not against schools. This is not against teachers. This is just me naming, damn, can our kids just go to school the same hours that we work every day? Okay, end rant. Let's get into today's topic. So this is something, let me take a sip of my coffee. P.S. My coffee mug that I got from the Tracy Lit. If you have not heard our conversation on the podcast together, it was literally epic. This coffee mug is from her. It says, "Who you've been is zero indication of who you're capable of becoming." Mm, 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 mm. Ain't that some truth? So this is what's been coming up lately for my clients, for myself. So as women, you guys know that I have shared this a million times over. We are conditioned to be quote unquote good girls. We are conditioned to take care of others. We are conditioned to put ourselves last. We are conditioned to read the energies of the room and to neutralize them. We are conditioned to tend to everybody's emotional needs and emotional states. We are conditioned to get in front of things and make sure everything runs smoothly. We are conditioned to stuff our feelings because our feelings are inconvenient for others. We are conditioned to play small, but to contribute, right? So there's all of this good girl conditioning that has us primed to walk into a room and immediately be able to sense the emotional and energetic states of the people in the room. And then without even thinking, without even trying, full blown subconsciously, we do a little song and dance. We do a little clown act to neutralize the situation, to lift this person up, to make that person feel better. We do all of this stuff behind the scenes to make it so that other people have a better experience or don't have any pain, right? So it's like it's tidying up the house before your husband gets home because you don't want him to be frustrated when he gets home, even though his frustration is not your problem. It's redecorating your house before your mother in law comes over. It's knowing that your kids are going to are having a hard time, so making them a different breakfast. It's having a bunch of kids over and sensing that one of them is having a hard time, so being extra pleasant and extra fun and extra joyful for them. It's going into a team meeting and feeling the tension in the room and feeling like you need to crack a joke to cut through the tension. It's going into a workroom, a work meeting, and there's a bunch of duds and there's no energy, and you feel the pressure to be vibrant and energetic, and you put on this performance. Where are you performing in your life so that you can change other people's energetic states and emotions? I'm going to take a pause right here. And I think I might even repeat that. Lean in. I want you to hear this. Where are you performing, appeasing, shape shifting so that you can change someone else's energetic state and emotional state in the room? My loves, we are doing this all day, day. It's like, I want the morning to run smooth and I want it to be easy for my kids and my husband. So I'm going to do this, this, and this. I want the drop off to be smooth. So I'm going to do this, this, and this. I'm going to respond to my husband's energy when he comes back from work. I'm going to respond to my boss's energy when he or she comes in hot. I'm going to throw a bunch of happiness on something to ease the pain. I'm going to throw humor on something to ease the awkwardness. I'm going to be the clown that takes everybody's pain away. Like, no, I still fall into this trap. I noticed it recently. And I was like, Brooke, you know that other people, and I want to do a caveat here, because when it comes to our kids, I do think it's our duty to like attune to our children and their emotions and to support them through the feeling and the expressing of their emotions without taking their emotions on and jumping into their bag of hurt. With other people, like your team, your clients, your boss, your partner, their feelings are their responsibility. Now, this doesn't mean that we go around hurting people and causing pain. That's absolutely not okay. But what it means is, if my husband comes home from work and he's in a funk, that is not my responsibility to internalize, first of all, because I love to make that mean something about me. Oh, he must be upset with me. He must be upset that the house is a mess. He must be upset that the kids are over. Listen, who I am authentically, I want to have the kids in my house. Why? Because I can make sure they're safe. With that, I am not negotiating on that. I want the kids in my home. I want my home to be a safe place for kids to play. That comes with a mess. My husband likes things tidy and clean. I love that about him. Our house looks good 90% of the time because of him. But if he comes home and he's in a funk, I don't need to make that mean something about me or my values or what's even happening. It could just be he's tired. It could just be somebody triggered him at work. It could just be the weight of the world is catching up. And so why do I jump in and try to clean up the house really quick before he gets home? And then he gets home and I'm like trying to make it good. And it's like, no, it's not directed at me. He's not taking it out on me or the kids. Give him a little space. Let him be where he's at. I can be where I'm at. I don't need to cross over and fix. He doesn't need to cross over and fix. And P.S., when I give him that space and I don't make it mean something about me and I don't jump in to fix it, he works through it in 20 minutes, for Pete's sakes. And also, I've noticed in any group that I'm a part of, I do have a lot of energy. I'm a generator by human design. So my soul's mission is to generate energy for the planet. I also like to be playful. I like to make people laugh. I'm passionate. And sometimes, and I'm going to own this because this is what people tell me, I'm magnetic. And it's hard for me to fully own that. I'm working on fully receiving and owning that compliment. But people tell me, Brooke, you're magnetic. How do I get some of that magnetism? Well, being playful, loving to make people laugh, being passionate, and heck, maybe even being magnetic means that I show up big. And then when I've made it my responsibility to somehow always show up big, always lift everybody in the room, always be the passion leader, always generate the energy. And you know what? That's effing exhausting. And I'm not always in a state that I want to lift your vibration. I am not always in a state that I want to be funny. I'm a human. And so I noticed, you guys, even me, who's been doing this work for so long, I fall into that trap of being the clown, of shape shifting, of disconnecting from the truth of how I feel in this moment to help others feel better. And while there is no need, if you find that you do this too, because I'm telling you, as women, girl, we do this. We do this a lot. So, like, be curious, pay attention, build your awareness only with kindness and playfulness. We are not going to criticize ourselves over this. We've been groomed to do it. It's also part of our superpower, which when you learn to harness this and you boundary it up, this ability for us to sense what's not being said, to feel people's feelings without them even telling us, to know what the undercurrent is, to read the room energetically is a damn superpower that us women and mothers have. But it doesn't really serve us unless we harness this gift and we boundary it up. And so we have to start with awareness of where we do it, where we overextend ourselves because we want to change somebody else's state. We want to start to let ourselves exist in the state that we're actually in. So here's what I'm playing with that I want to share with you so you can play with it too. Here's the how. How do we, once we have the awareness that we're doing this, now what do we do? Well, each day we check in. What is my state today? Is my energy high or low? Is my emotionality pleasant or unpleasant? And we meet ourselves where we're at with grace. We don't force passion if the passion isn't there, but we feel our feelings, we flush them out, and then we take good care of ourselves, which often the taking good care of ourselves helps us feel a little bit better and raise our frequency just a notch or two. So, for example, if I wake up and I'm in a funk and I'm like in a depressive day or a depressive week or a depressive state, because I have that, instead of forcing a fake passion, forcing a fake enthusiasm, forcing myself to be the leader of energy when I don't have it to give, I'm going to start to play with, I don't have to show up and be that version of me today. What if I just moved a little bit slower? What if I just attuned my attention to my internal world and I did a longer meditation? What if I just showed up for that live coaching as I am? What if I just showed up for my client as I am? And let's see what happens. And what I've noticed is that when I give myself grace, when I allow myself to be where I'm at, when I consciously do things to take care of myself, I slowly start to feel better anyway. I slowly start to come alive. And then maybe a joke comes out at 2 p.m. and maybe I'm passionate again by 3 p.m. or whatever. But what I'm not doing is forcing it. At least that's my intention. I can still fall into that trap. So, where can you allow yourself to be the organic and truthful state that you are and not feel like you need to change your state to change other people's state? Where can you also not feel the responsibility of shifting other people's state? If I'm doing a live coaching and you have low energy and you're not even participating and looking at me, I am no longer working extra hard for you to get the message. You can be where you are. You're going to miss out, and that's okay. But I am not going to shapeshift to try to earn your attention, to try to give you the tools that I'm giving everybody else. If you want to show up and be in that vibration and not participate or not be present, that's your choice. And I have no ill will toward you, just acceptance. But I'm not going to do a clown show for you, right? My clients come in, they get to be where they are. Why can't I? But I can now. My husband, if he's grumpy, he gets to be where he is. He will come out of it and be back to himself, right? So, to recap, step number one, where are you shape shifting so that you can fix someone else's or change someone else's emotional state and therefore energetic state? Where are you entering a room and trying to lift the vibration or ease the tension or neutralize the conflict or distract from something? Like, it's not your responsibility. Everybody as an adult is responsible for their own emotions and their own energy, and people are extraordinarily strong and resilient. They'll make it. Because here's something really sneaky that I realized about this tendency. So I will speak for myself, and you can apply it to your own life in whatever way feels appropriate. But when I feel like I need to clean up the house and be really high vibration and be super loving when my husband comes home so that he can be in a certain state, I'm not actually doing that for him. I'm actually doing that for me. I need his state to be different so I can feel better. Wow. This realization is profound. I'm not actually doing it for him, right? When we tell our kids to quiet down when they're crying, we're not doing that for them. We're not doing that to soothe them. We're doing that because our nervous systems can't handle their big emotion. And when we're telling them to shh, 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 we're telling them to stuff their feelings. When I step into a room and I can't handle the conflict, so I try to neutralize it with my joyful energy and my funniness, it's not because I want them to have a more joyful experience. It's actually, and this is deep and it's subconscious, it's because I can't tolerate being in the tension in the room. So the task isn't change other people's energy. The task is, how do I expand my capacity to hold unpleasant emotions and energetic states? How can I have energetic boundaries so that your funk does not become my funk? Your bad day does not ruin my day. Your good day doesn't mean I can't have a crunching moment. Do you see what I'm saying? Are you with me? So, to recap, we want to become aware of where we shape shifting to adjust the energy or the emotionality in the room. Okay. Number two, call your energy back. Let yourself be in the frequency and the emotionality that you're in. Feel your feelings and then take care of yourself, which will ultimately probably shift your frequency and your emotion anyway. And get curious about why you're doing what you're doing. What purpose is it serving? So when you're trying to change your kids' emotional states, your husband's emotional states, your team's emotional states, your bosses, who is it actually serving? It's serving you. And what can you do to regulate your nervous system so that you can grow your capacity to hold your boss's panic, to hold your children's bursts of sadness, to hold your team's fears of the unknown, to hold your clients' pain and suffering? Because to go in and try to fix it in a self-serving way, we actually steal the opportunity for that person to learn to navigate their own emotions and to work through their own hard thing, which, honey, could be a huge part of their soul's journey. If I come in and fix it for you, what do you learn? Do you learn how to manage your emotions? Do you learn emotional intelligence? Do you learn how to express yourself? Do you learn how to effectively communicate your needs? Do you learn the hard life lessons that you got to learn through this? No, you don't. So I am literally stealing your development because I can't handle sitting in the yuck. That is not what we're doing as unperfected, highly conscious women who are healing, becoming, and rising, baby. What we're doing is we're number one, cleaning up our own side of the street. We are managing our own emotions. We are feeling our feelings. Okay, I've recorded a podcast on how to actually process emotion. Go back and listen to that one. We regulate our nervous systems. We engage in self-care. We understand that self-care multiple times a day is essential to the becoming of the woman we want to be. We allow ourselves to be what we are. And when we take care of ourselves, that usually gets us closer to our baseline. But we are no longer pretending to be more happy than we are, pretending to have more energy than we have, lifting the frequency of the room, doing anything to change other people's states, because that's not our responsibility. And we are growing in our capacity to hold. And what's really beautiful about this work, my friends, is the more that we grow our capacity to hold the unpleasant states of ourselves and others, the more we grow in our capacity to receive pleasure. So you can only experience pleasure to the same rate that you can handle pain. So if you spend your life avoiding pain, you are also spending your life avoiding pleasure. And as a woman, our pleasure is such a guiding light to who we are, what we want, and how we're going to do it in this world. So we want to be turned on and turned up. We want to be listening to the pleasure signs of our body, knowing, yes, this is for me, and no, this is not. And when we shut off our pleasure centers and we shut off our experience of pleasure because we're avoiding pain, you are no longer accessing your intuitive wisdom and guidance that has all the answers that you seek in your life. So I know this is a big one. I want you to sit with it. I want you to contemplate on it. I want you to journal on it. I want you to meditate on it. I want you to begin to build your awareness non-judgmentally and from a place of love and compassion. And I want you to start to experiment with letting people be in their feelings and letting yourself be what you are and taking your power back and your energy back that you are giving to changing other people's states. What could you do with the energy that you gain back by not trying to fix others? Holy cannoli. Let's go. All right, mama, that's my message for you today. I am sending you so much love today and always. Please take care of yourselves and therefore each other. And I will see you same time, same place next week. Bye for now. Hey, mama, if you made it to the end of this episode, I just want to virtually high five you because you've said yes to the opportunity of taking better care of yourself. And that is so meaningful and so amazing. You have no idea the ripple of goodness that's to come. If you've been enjoying the show, if you've been finding it helpful, if you've laughed a little or learned a new technique, will you do me a favor? Will you make sure that you're following the show, that you've given us a 5-star rating and left a review? That will absolutely help us get this podcast into more heads and hearts of as many mamas as possible. Because when we heal the mother, we heal the world. Also, if there's a specific episode that you've loved, will you make sure to share it with a friend? Just send them the link or share it on social media and make sure you tag me at Brooke Jean Unperfected because I absolutely love seeing that this is actually giving you the impact that you so desire and deserve. Thank you so much, mamas. Make sure you're taking care of yourselves and therefore each other.